by the seashore. So it seems your screams need more. So plead your best, please, Lord. Before it leads more, big teens or kids all get that steamroll fist. I need that before it don't need me go lit. What's going on, DSG? It's your boy Donald Bradley back at y'all another video. Today we've got the depressing reality of being a small cat. We over here about to get our animal education on with Casual Geographic, man. So let's just hop in. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media. We in here without any further ado. In 3, 2, 1, click. I mean, compared to big cats, like, yeah, man, that's gotta, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they ever get like a good look at a big cat, like, nigga, what is you for real? Oh.
What do you think about that? Yeah.
Write this down. If you go,
you know what I'm saying? Like that whole shit about being cute and cuddly with an animal that would probably eat your ass in the wild. You feel me? Like you see motherfuckers walking around with like pet tigers and pet lions that like they raised since like they was cubs and shit, so it's cool. Or like when they like was around them feeding them bottles and shit when they was a baby, leave for a while, come back when they grown and they still remember them, like, ooh, give me a hug. Like that's cool in like, you know, controlled environment, like domestic type shit. And I feel like it's very interesting when I see that, knowing that like if that was a wild tiger and you just like went out there, you know what I'm saying, and was like, oh hey, they would fuck your shit up. You feel me? It's just a strange duality for me. But all right, we move.
Outside, right? You go outside and you don't find a cat there. You have not gone outside.
You've gone
Cat there. If you go outside, right? You go outside and you don't find a cat there.
There's a cat that chills right outside my shit, bro. Little orange cat.
There. You have not gone outside. You've gone to hell. Or the poles, which is the same thing, just frozen over. From the desolate dunes of the Sahara to the wilds of Houston, Texas. Cats have colonized virtually every aspect of this planet. There is no animal that's gotten more mileage out of humanity just by being itself. And you can tell, because where wolves would have treated us like the plague if they knew pugs were down the line, 99% of people can't tell which cat belongs in a pet store. Thanks for unpausing. It's none of them. And believe it or not, that might just be what kills them. Because 99 is also the percent of wildcat funds that have gone to tigers, jaguars, and other big cats. Big cats are like the football flex of a D1 school. They'll never not have funds for new uniforms and infinite DoorDash. Meanwhile, engineers sleep in bedbug-infested abandoned bomb shelters. The other cats are so cute it kills them. Because most of the public is impressed about the population of something that looks like you can find it in an animal shelter. One cat might already be in the genetic gulag because of it. So this video is about the small cats. For their sake and you.
Okay, so we on small wildcats still. All right. I didn't know my man was talking like domestic straight up. So okay, small wildcats.
Because no one ever
I still
said
ain't
there were
fucking
too
with
many
them
cat
neither.
videos. Pure Spite already made me talk about the difference, but the short version is big cats are cats that can roar. Somehow snow leopards slid by.
Snow leopards. Okay.
Basically, a modified hyoid bone is what gives big cats the ability to evacuate your bowels. So whenever someone tries to argue cheetahs, I just let the cheetahs speak for themselves. Because vocal Viagra to a bird watcher does not a big cat make. Cheetahs are built like the work of a malicious genie. They wanted to be the fastest so bad, now they speed run through life. Being the fastest thing on legs gives them a respectable success rate. But that success gets nerfed when about 10% of their kills gets taxed by lions, leopards, and especially a predatory laugh track. And unlike leopards, their claws and conflicts are both non-retractable, so cheetahs can't even do the cat thing and climb from their problems. We used to think cheetahs ran so fast their brains overheat after, when really, it's the stress of knowing they're a main character visit away from having concepts for dinner. Or maybe it's the anxiety of their laugh.
Having concepts for dinner, bro. You gotta clean your plate quick, my boy. Shit. Over there just enjoying a meal, gotta watch your back because somebody coming to take that shit from you, man. These motherfuckers is out there in the yard for real. Like, y'all, they out there in a prison lunchroom of the wild for real. Just trying to sit down and eat their food while watching their back, you feel me?
Hookup possibly being a blood relative, since the spotted doormat survived not one, but 2 major bottleneck events, largely by keeping it in the family royal style, which is why the current cheetah gene pool is more like a puddle and not even yeast is that inbred. Cheetahs are so anxious that many in zoos have emotional support dogs to serve as role models for the high-strung balls of evolutionary apprehension. Basically, seeing their dog stay calm helps keep the cheetahs chill, and even gives them the confidence to do things like make more cheetahs. But as easy as it is to dunk on cheetahs, it's really not their fault. Being faster than the speed of light has a ceiling when you live in darkness. And the cheetah is essentially an overgrown high-speed house cat in the shadow of lions and leopards. But cheetahs do get props for fully committing to speed with the aforementioned non-retractable claws, ridiculous lung capacity, a flexible spine that makes the scoliosis in mind scream, and even a built-in tail rudder for steering that honestly looks like antelope aimbot. Plus, they'll always have my respect as arguably the most underappreciated single mothers in nature, especially since male cheetahs often reject paternity to go run with the boys, with males forming coalitions to hunt and travel in. So while I don't approve of exotic pets in like any form, if there's one predator begging to go the way of the wolf, I'd have to vote for the Ferrari feline. The Serval took what the cheetah did for speed, but for jumping. The Serval's been called the Frankencat for looking like it was assembled at a lost and found. They got ears.
Oh God. Bro, if I went outside and I seen some shit like that, bro, like, even if it's sitting still, like, I'm running. Bro, you 2 horns away from a jackalope. What the fuck we got going on here? What?
Ears so big that I probably could convince you that this isn't a filter. Each ear can rotate 180 degrees independently, and wearing a Mickey Mouse headset means they can pinpoint the proverbial needle in the less than proverbial haystack. But it also means they file a noise complaint every time someone thinks for themselves. I wrote like 9 more ear jokes, but surely he's heard them all before. Besides, it's far more freaky that servals have the longest legs relative to body size of any cat. And once you see it, like anti-fascists, you'll never not see it. It's what gives servals what many
Anti-fascist, you never not see bars, bro. Drop the track. I'm gonna say it every reaction, bro. Drop the track. You got bars, bro.
call video game bounce, as they can leap up to 12 feet in the air. But it also makes the ones that come in all black look like a cryptid. They're one of the most efficient cat hunters, with a success rate of about 50%.
That motherfucker do
They're
got
also
long ass
efficient at
arms, though.
conflict resolution. When 2 males get into a territory dispute, they'll aggressively emote while they'll size each other up while placing a paw on the rival's chest. It usually doesn't escalate to violence, just a stare-off where the winner stays standing and the loser eventually retreats. How to figure out who is beyond me, and if you bring one into your home, expect de-escalation aimed at your cat.
Relax.
Many don't stop at if, with folks mixing a serval and a domestic together to make a savanna cat. Not unlike the pug, I can't say I approve of them as a concept, but I guess it's better than people playing house with an actual wild serval. Doing it with a non-domesticated nope makes even less sense. I've seen many videos of a caracal in someone's house, but not one where he seemed happy about it. The caracal is also called the desert lynx, but let's be real, we all know him as Floppa, named appropriately after their ears. It's still up for debate what's the actual purpose of the pigtails. Some say it's to mimic insects and therefore catfish hunting birds, or to blend into the surrounding tall grass. But the theory I'm going with is having graduation tassels on the ears is for nonverbal communication with other caracals, where they can sidestep or invite social interaction with just a swipe of an ear. Because whenever you see something questionable in nature, the safe bet is to assume somehow baby making's involved.
What in the Final Fantasy fuck was that? Somebody gonna have to explain that one to me, cause I just seen 2 animals basically throw up their heart, and I'm confused. What?
Whenever you see something questionable in
But what is it?
nature, the safe bet is to assume somehow baby.
Hell no. I don't know what it is. You know what? I don't even want to know what it is. That's why I leave animals alone. See, they be doing shit I can't readily identify, and I can't fuck with that. See, I can't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? 2 animals that I've seen before, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be zoo, TV, whatever, seen them. But I ain't never seen that. Whatever videos I seen of them animals, I ain't never seen it do that. And the camel, whatever, do that. So they still be doing shit that I have no idea about. And you want me... Got me fucked up, bro.
Baby making's involved. They have 20 muscles in those ears, and like a serval, can move them around to eavesdrop on prey like a satellite. Caracals are the coyotes of cats. Against a bigger cat, they're cooked. But turns out, caracals are much better at city living than them. With Cape leopards getting 404'd by humans, the caracal has become the apex predator of the Cape Peninsula. Shout out to Cape Town, which is a big problem.
See, that's the thing. If you can't be big in the wild, you gotta be big in the city, where all the rest of the cats is domestic. You feel me? So now you got an edge over all them because you wasn't fucking with shit else out where you was at. I see what they doing. They smart though.
For one particular bird. The caracal also has turbo thrusters for legs, and the sky lynx jumps high enough to be a hazard to flying birds. So
Got
the worst
him.
thing you can do is show them one that can't fly. Caracals moving into the urban has also introduced them to colonies of Cape Town penguins in the thousands. It's like a fat kid in a cake store, and they act accordingly. One caracal managed to spend a year in the colony as a fugitive, murking an estimated 260 penguins before eventually getting caught. This
that motherfucker was eating good though, wasn't he? Boy said, "Oh, we got a whole buffet right here. Go ahead. They don't even fly. They just waddle. Go ahead now. Bring that ass on over here."
hissy fit is an accomplished predator and for some reason a popular pet. But the tsunderes might be the New Yorkers of cats that communicate in aggression even when they're calm. But like the serval, the caracal is better as an air toll to birds than an ouch on your couch. If the serval and caracal have a lot in common, it's because they share lineage, and they also share it with the African golden cat, a cat very few people have ever seen. They're found only in the rainforests of Central and West Africa, and they look like a caracal nature tried redrawing strictly from memory. The lynx left behind is one of the least studied cats on Earth, and not for a lack of trying. Leila Bahaeldin spent 4 years attempting to find an African golden cat, and in total she found one. By accident. It's less impressive that she spent 1,400 days waiting on a cat, more so that she didn't drop her camera and fumble the first chance she got. I know I would have. It's likely this incognito cat is a result of them sharing an area code with leopards. Studies found that golden cats will actively switch to smaller prey if they happen to be in the hunting territory of a leopard. There's also the Asian golden cat of Asia. He looks like a travel-sized tiger and has the nickname Yellow Leopard. They were actually named after Dutch zoologist Conrad Jacob Tenmink. Well, my condolences, Conrad, but I'm not saying all that again. So that's an Asian golden. They share a name, but their ancestors split up millions of years ago, and they're not even each other's closest cousins. We also have the African wildcat. To be fair, he is. There's also the Asiatic and European wildcat. And fun fact, the European wildcat's scientific name is how the Looney Tunes Sylvester got his. If you have a pet cat though, direct your gratitude to the African variety, as they're the ancestor of yours. About 10,000 years ago, the African wildcat domesticated itself in a fertile crescent of the Middle East. You see, when humans were nomads, there wasn't much care for a cat, but once we switched to farming, the mouse-murking whiskered one became an asset, and just like that, the cat secured arguably the best possible job for itself. And since the cats barely had to change their playbook, the African wildcat is a dead ringer for something you'd find in the average American house, which is a big problem for the other wildcat. The European cat can also be confused for a kennel jockey, at least until you take them home, as European wildcats are notoriously impossible to have as pets. Naturalist Francis Pitt didn't buy the untrainable label and attempted to hand raise one named Satan. Satan was like an indoor deratio that gave Francis an experience.
See, I feel if people believe you can't domesticate this cat and then you take it and name it Satan, you're doing a little thing I like to call playing with fate, like it ain't just about to pop you in your face. Keep playing if you want to, but don't. Okay.
And raise one named Satan. Satan was like an indoor deratio that gave Francis an experience befitting his name. Wildcats don't just dislike humans. European wildcats and domestics have been avoiding each other for about 2,000 years. But by the 60s, the wildcat population flirted with zero, which likely led to them and domestics humping hybrids out. It's kind of like how wolves were once so down bad that they settled for coyotes and now we got coy wolves. Except with European wildcats, the effort succeeded in polluting the pure wildcat gene pool, with very few of them left. They've nearly literally screwed themselves out of existence. And good luck rallying support when the average person sees its doppelganger on their yard every day. There's also the Asian wildcat, also known as a desert or steppe cat. Same story as the other two, except there's something inexplicably satisfying about this one. Maybe it's the sand coat seasoned with marks to help break up its outline. Their existence is proof that I could never cut it as a cameraman. Put this in my sight, I would lose all professionalism and likely my lips as I pss myself out of a job. They have nothing on the deadliest cat on the planet, which it isn't actually him. Didn't I say this wasn't a big cat video? Weighing about a bag of flour, the black-footed cat is the smallest cat in Africa. It's also pound for pound, the deadliest. They'll pack up more prey in one night than a leopard will in 6 months. And
well, you gotta understand, bro. When the little ones is the one you gotta watch out for. You feel me? Because they gotta be the most volatile. Because they gotta be the most don't fuck with me type shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand when you a predator, right? But you're not the predator. You can't. It's weird when you predator and prey at the same time. You feel me? You go get yours. You feel me? But you can still get got. So you gotta have a little extra on you. You feel me? And I feel like that's where, you know what I'm saying, animals be having a whole Napoleon complex with themselves if it's a predatory animal, because you can't just have another motherfucker rolling up on you while you eating trying to eat you. You see how confusing that get? But all right.
They'll life deprive up to 14 animals in that night. Blackfoots might as well wear red bottoms. They have the highest kill rate of a cat, one that doubles lions, and is believed one cat can erase 3,000 rodents in 1 year. The assassin named the anthill tiger has to kill up to 20% of its body weight in prey a day just to fuel its metabolism. They have 3 ways of stacking bodies: the fast hunt, where they essentially overstimulate their prey by rushing around until they flush them out; the slow hunt, where they stalk the scenery and wait for a snack to expose itself; and the sit and wait hunt, which you don't need a description.
Look at that
for.
motherfucker ears,
Another reason
bro.
I'd much rather talk
Hold
about
up.
itself and the sit and wait hunt.
Talk about ready, get set. That motherfucker gonna own it. Look at them ears, boy. I wouldn't even be looking him in his eye, bruh. I'd be like, you got it. Oh, but it's a little. I don't give a sugar frosted. Boy. It's little and it's wild and it can go crazy. I bet you will whoop my ass. I ain't. Nope.
Which you don't need a description.
Like, it's different with cats versus dogs. You know what I'm saying? A dog, say a dog come at me, right? Little dog, biting and scratching and shit. Don't get me wrong. I love animals. I got my soft spot for animals all day long. You know what I'm saying? The little orange cat that I just told y'all about, he be getting fed and shit. He do. But at the same time, should one so happen to go crazy on me like a dog, it can get punted. It can. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It can get punted. Now, here's the thing with cats, though. Yeah, they can get punted. But will they? You know what I'm saying? Because they like to hold the fuck on to shit. You feel me? And when it comes to something like that, it's going to do more than just hold on. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I'm saying is actually going to kill me or something? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? I'll get it. But just imagine the pool of blood that I would be in from all the scratches and bites and just egregiousness that thing would visit upon my body as I tried to dismantle it. Like,
Another reason I'd much rather talk about animals in front of a camera than record those from behind one. I don't have the professionalism for that. Now we get to one of my favorite cats, the sand cat. As arguably the second smallest cat, they have no business being the badasses nature intended. They live in a limitless litter box that can reach 115 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, just to drop to negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Luckily, sand cats don't need water. The blood of their victims is sustenance enough. The Sahara warrior can go without water longer than a camel because they get what they need from their prey, which often means leaning on their blood. Blood that washes down the venomous snakes the sandcat will headshot and eat. But the biggest headache goes to anyone trying to find them. Sandcats have furry foot pads that protect them from the scalding hot sand, but it also means that they don't leave behind footprints. Also, they spend most of the day underground and the night hunting throughout its range, with some cats covering as much as 8 miles in a little over 24 hours. But even by the grace of God, if you stumble into one, you can still blindly walk by your blessing, since sandcats will famously close their eyes at night when a human approaches, so they can't be clocked by their eye glow. So if you ever see a sandy cat in the wild, say thanks, because that's entirely the cat's discretion. They're so adapted to live in the most unlivable place ever, they actually struggle when you take them out the trenches. The same respiratory system designed for Satan's sandbox is prone to infection outside the desert. You wouldn't want one in your house anyway, since sandcats primarily communicate through golden showers, and if you know about desert animals, the smell of their urine would have them kicked out. Still one of the cats of all time. And on the other side of the spectrum is the fishing cat, not to be confused with the fisher cat, which is neither. Unlike them, the fishing cat actually earns its
not
name.
a fish
Living
or
in
cat.
places like the Sundarban mangroves in India and Bangladesh, the aqua kitty can dive and swim long distances. And they fully committed, with partially webbed feet, an aerodynamic head, and claws evolved in the form of fish hooks. Basically the fish terminator, with about 76% of a fishing cat's diet coming with gills. They spend most of their time in shallow water, wading, and they'll even flick the water surface to mimic insects in order to fool the fish. They're capable climbers too, and scientists have clocked them snatching baby birds out of nests. Fishing cats might be the feline raccoon equivalent, as they've slowly been moving into city areas of places like Sri Lanka. It's not that out of place to be walking down the street and see a feline fisher hunting in a garden pond, and some are even popping up on rooftops and in attics. Really a catastrophically, no pun intended, underrated cat. And that's actually a problem. They're vulnerable, it's just that most people don't even know they exist, so they get shafted on funding. The flat-headed cat is even less known, and honestly, they got hoed hard body. If we would have found them first, they probably would have taken the fishing title. Up to 80% of a flathead's...
Bro, what in the mongoose am I looking at here? Bruh, you are a cat and something else.
If we would have found them first, they probably would have taken the fishing title. Up to 80% of a flathead's diet can be fish, and those eyes that are almost uncomfortably close together give it perfect binocular fish flatlining vision. Dog, even their toes are more webbed than the alleged fishing cat. But this Auburn aquatic got stuck with flat-headed. Yeah, no, I'd be mad too. Maybe if they had a cuter name, more people would care about the fact they're likely Southeast Asia's most endangered cat, with less than 2,500 left in the wild. Not like the leopard cat. They're privileged enough to have two flavors, the Sunda leopard cat and the mainland leopard cat. In fact, they're the most widespread wildcat in Asia, found from India all the way to North Korea and China. Also, shout out India. They got the most types of wildcats in their country. With
That's crazy. We just call all of our wildcats strays.
a record of 15. The leopard cat is also a swimmer and has been known to colonize islands. Disgusting greed. In fact, there's a leopard cat variant that only lives on the Japanese island of Iriomote, with possibly under 100 left in existence, making it arguably the rarest wildcat. The leopard cat exists in many forms, so of course folks done turned it into a pet. The Bengal cat is the result of a leopard cat and a domestic mating. Apparently the creator's logic was if people could buy a cat that looked like a leopard cat, less people would buy the real thing. I don't know if I like that logic. I think there's enough cats. That being said, bro got that shit on. The Borneo Bay cat is a familiar situation, but instead of Iriomote, the only place he'll hypothetically find them is in Borneo. Hypothetically, because the bay...
I am confused. I guess, like, to what extent can two different kinds of cat mate and actually have offspring that can reproduce? Because, lions and tigers, they mate to have the liger or the tie-in or whatever, but that animal can't reproduce. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm just like, through what channels does that stop being a factor? I guess, my question. Let me know in the comments.
Cat is basically a living theory. They've only been recorded less than 100 times in history, and between 1874 and 2004, only 12 bay cat bodies have been studied. They straight up disappeared for 60 years, because after being discovered in 1856,
they said nope.
By 1928, they seemingly fell off the face of the earth. That was until...
It's because they're not dumb. They were like, we've seen humans. We know what you do. We're not playing. Matter of fact, the one that you've seen, he died. You want to know why? Because he went against the creed, which is to not be seen by these niggas. Let's go.
So someone pulled up to the Natural History Museum in Sarawak in 1992 with a half-dead bay cat. Since then, we haven't learned much. We really don't know how they hunt, what exactly they hunt, how they raise their kids, how they make their kids, or even what their niche is. There's few existing videos of this ghost of a cat. This is the best quality pic you're gonna get from a cat that dipped on reality for 6 decades like Captain America. The jungle cat is another one named out of misunderstanding or spite, since they live almost anywhere except the jungle. Also called the reed or swamp cat. You'll find them on the hunt in tall grasses, swamps, reed beds, dry open forests, but never a jungle, of course, where they're an all-around athletic flex of a Furby. They can air snatch birds, climb trees, catch fish, and have even been clocked swimming up to a mile. They usually grief mice and fowl, but will also pack up cobras, and sometimes even gazelle. In the country of 1,000 cats, jungle cats are the most common one in India. And just remember, you're more likely to find one on a university campus in Bangladesh than anywhere near a jungle. Now, what y'all know about the marbled cat? It's a pint-sized monkey of a cat, somewhere in the forest shadowed by the Himalayas, where the marbled cat has been found as high as 12,500 feet.
If that ain't stay the fuck away from me, I don't know what is. You 12,500 feet in the air, that is obvious leave me the fuck alone territory. That I believe. Now you motherfuckers want to go up there with cameras and shit. I understand. You know what I'm saying? For the furtherment of scientific study and knowing the animals, and I get that. I understand. But 12,500 feet, boy, like that is back the fuck up territory. Like how? Okay.
Or almost 17 Golden Gate Bridge towers above sea level. It's another...
Leave me the fuck alone territory. Come on. Let's go.
One of those cats you only ever run into by accident, since the marble cat spends almost its entire life in the trees, moving like a 1.5-foot predatory spider cat, where they likely inflict all manners of PTSD on the primates they prey on. Ironically, the less than 10-pound marble cat almost stole itself a spot with the big cats, with them once considered panthers. And now, we get to one of my favorite cats of all time. Look at this dude. The clouded leopard is like a cat forgotten by time, an animated mosaic and living relic from an era long left behind. The clouded leopard is considered the missing link between big cats and not big cats, mostly because, like cheetahs, they talk themselves out of the big cat spot. That is an apex predator, one that's about 3 feet long. I swear I thought they were jaguar sized as a kid, but that's probably because the first time I ever heard of one, it was trying to turn the rugrats into baby coffins. They are the closest thing to a modern day saber-toothed tiger, not by DNA, but by virtue of having the longest canines relative to body size of any cat. Like,
this is why I constantly say, as much as I love animals, respect their distance and they gangster. Because anything that can look at you with teeth like that is not to be fucked with. Not to be domesticated. It ain't to be pet. It ain't to be none of that, bro. It's meant to be left alone out there killing shit like it's supposed to. Out there. All I'm saying.
the leopard cat, the clouded leopard has a Sunda and mainland variant. While this photogenic fossil has never attacked a human, they're a threat to literally everything else. And with ankles that can rotate, and not just in the Gordon Hayward way, they can climb down trees head first like a squirrel. Or upside down, because when you're apex, you just start trying shit. They're even a danger to each other. They're one of the hardest cats to breed because males often kill their mates in the process. Less than 20% of cloud cats in captivity are successful at mating, making them the panda of cats. But if you were expected to drop trow and make a beast with two backs with a complete stranger in a room full of voyeurs, you'd be less than cooperative too. It doesn't matter the size or the looks they serve, a cat of any kind is a savage to his core. And look no further than this guy. The rusty spotted cat is called the hummingbird of cats, and they're another one that could spawn in a pet store and no one would blink. That is until it murks everyone else. The rusty spotted is a highly skilled assassin that'll pounce on prey from the trees, and I really wish I had footage of that. 19th century T.C. Gurdon kept a paperweight predator as a pet that earned his respect by hunting the squirrels in his house. The cat earned a little more when T.C. caught it attempting to choke out a gazelle by clamping on its neck, and the cat had to be physically removed from the now surely traumatized gazelle. That doesn't change the reality that this cat would get my credentials confiscated if I ever had to film one. I wouldn't have that problem with this one though. Not because he's not cute, but because he looks terminally unenthused by life and I don't want to add to it. The palace cat, also called a Manul, is in a perpetual state of ain't shit. I don't want to add to it. The palace cat, also called a Manul, is
I feel a type of way about having a name so close to the word manure. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes when we name these animals, you got to realize they don't have a choice in what we call them. You know what I'm saying? You don't. I feel like sometimes you people be doing. Y'all remember what the bird was? The bird in the video. Man, I can't remember. But it was some outlandish shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I just feel like sometimes when we be naming these things, we be doing shit on purpose. That's all.
in a perpetual state of ain't shit funny. They actually learn to growl before they even open their eyes. They're born beefing with life, and believe me, they have their reasons. Maybe it's because their choice of home can be negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, all the way up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit come summer. Or it might be the fact that living in God's waiting room with limited exposure to pathogens means palace cats are highly susceptible to getting folded by disease when they leave the mountains. It's possible it's because their mating ritual involves the male just following around the female for days until she's ready, something I'm sure neither's happy about. Or it could be their scientific name being ugly-eared cat. I challenge you to find a picture of a palace cat that looks happy. This is the closest I could get. Just a temperamental ball of laundry lint that will use its tail as a blanket and will even stand on it to warm their feet. Speaking of which, the Manul is actually the size of a house cat. It's just having the densest fur of any cat gives it an adorable sleeper build. The palace cat is notably afraid of humans and will go out of their way to avoid them, unless you feed them. You could never convince me not to love me some palace cat. Not even a palace cat itself. You could fix your face though. Honestly, this cat has a lot more to be mad about. The Chinese mountain cat is only found on China's Tibetan plateau, where they're very much unknown. Few of them have actually been studied, and the biggest threat to them is that most people don't even know they exist. Show this to the average person, and they'll just assume you're one of those cat people. They'd never know that there's less than 10,000 in stock, and it's all humans' fault. The Chinese
like, why you think they live in all these leave-me-alone places? Talking about it get this hot in the daytime and this cold at the nighttime, like... They live in all of these, like, no human spots. You know what I'm saying? Stay up away from this area. We out here. That's why we out here. Because it's far away from you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the motherfuckers descended from saber-tooth was like, yeah, we know how they got X'd out. You know what I'm saying? fucking caveman and shit, whatever. Like, we ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? We seen what y'all do. We ain't trying to. We going to the mountains. We going over here. We going over there. And then you got the other ones that's like, but hold on, man. Them humans be making some shit, though, like food wise. You know what I'm saying? We're going to check out some of that, at least just a little bit.
Mountain cat hunts with extreme pica prejudice, so when China started poisoning them, the Chinese mountain cat caught a nasty stray. Today, most of what we know about them is from captivity, and the only time we ever seem to find them is by accident. In 2018, Hong Shangshi of the Shangshi Conservation Center was studying black-necked cranes when she randomly made eye contact with a shiny Pokemon of cats, which means someone probably spent years searching for him just to get shown up by a glorified bird watcher. But if that ain't the most cat thing a cat could do. The biggest problem with being this cat is no matter how endangered you are, your death will never hit as hard as an elephant's or a panda's. Just be glad you got to see this one. There's no missing a cougar though. One, cause it's a small cat that could mog some of the big ones. They vary in size and actually get bigger the further they get from the equator, but most males sit around 130 to 160 pounds. Some can clear 200, and in 1979, a hunter brought down one weighing 276 pounds. Cougars also have the most extensive range of any American animal, and a prey base of about 500. Garfield on steroids is liable to murk moose in the Yukon, and rodeo ride guanacos in Chile. Cougars are the CrossFit freaks of cats, with Olympic medaling bounce while being able to swim a mile and travel over 1,000. They also might be the most ethical killers. They're a predator with a preference not to scavenge and would rather eat what they kill. Cougars are also way more generous than anyone thought, with many being caught sharing kills with other pumas. From 2012 to 2015 in Yellowstone, 118 interactions were recorded between at least 2 cougars, and 60% of these occurred at kills, and many of them involved sharing. In fact, there's a scene from Our Planet where a teenager who just left his mom attempts to steal food from a giant mountain of a male twice his size, and in a complete plot twist, the old man let the little one slide. But there's one predator that gets absolutely no love from cougars, because mountain lions and wolves have a blood feud where wolf packs will gang up on.
And that, what you just seen, is why I respectfully keep my distance. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like if you could stand on, and this go for some dogs too, to be real with you, but like I like doggies, but especially for the ones out there in the wild, animals, period, cats, whatever. You stand on your hind legs, you can be taller than me. Fuck it, you stand on all 4, you bigger than half my height. Like going like up. I don't know. No. See. No. This is just no. It's a no. It's a no. That's all it is, and that's fine. That's fine. I ain't fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? I watch these videos, so I'm knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have the knowledge. I get you. But like this way. Like that's why I gotta say I got the utmost respect, because obviously somebody's filming this shit. You feel me? I got the utmost respect for you. I feel like you endangering your life, but that's why I got the respect. Because it ain't going to be me. It could never. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Bye.
Any lone lions, but one-on-one, mountain lions can have a blood feud where wolf packs absolutely no love from cougars. Because mountain lions and wolves have a blood feud where wolf packs will gang up on any lone lions, but one-on-one, mountain lions commit first degree on a wolf. But recently, there's been more of a trend of mountain lions stalking, jumping, and murking wolves on sight. Since 2013, cougars have been responsible for 30% of documented wolf deaths in Washington.
So that's what that is. Why dogs be going after cats? It's genetic revenge. Got you.
Wolves also have beef with the lynx, but the wolves tend to do a lot better with that matchup. There's 4 flavors of lynx: the Eurasian lynx, Iberian lynx, Canada lynx, and the bobcat lynx. The Eurasian is like the big cat of Europe, or the closest they have to one at least. They're notoriously one of the most difficult cats to track, which is a crime with a face card like that. There's many subspecies of the Eurasian persuasion, but the rarest might be the Balkan lynx, with fewer than 50 left in stock. The Iberian lynx is also one of the rarest cats, mostly cause what pika are to a mountain cat, rabbits are to the Iberian, and the rabbits dying to disease and overhunting nearly put the predator in a pack. They were down to about 62 left alive in 2001, but have since bounced back to about 2,400 as of 2024. The Canada lynx is the ultimate specialist, specializing in being the Grim Reaper to the horseshoe hare, which can make up 97% of their diet. The evolutionary arms race with the
that rabbit was running for its motherfucking life. Did y'all see that dip dash? This and still ain't get away. But who was he trying?
Horseshoe hare, which
Look at
can
that,
make
look at
up
that, look at
97% of their diet. The evolutionary arms race with the hare is likely why the Canada lynx has what we call proud family feet. But the most notable thing about them is their arguments are probably why the Appalachian Mountains have the reputation they have.
So freaking cool.
It sound like some shit that you turn in, and it goes like how you charge it. Y'all know what them is. The little fucking charger things that you gotta. They be on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Them shits. It sound like that.
Then there's the bobcat, which I learned way too late in life is just a lightweight lynx, named after their short, stubby, truncated tail. Is that out of pocket?
Hey, Tom.
Would naming
Hey,
this guy
Bob.
Toby or Robert be? You decide. Bobcats aren't just the most common wildcat in America. They have one of the longest grocery lists too. They'll hunt rabbits, birds, mice, squirrels, but will also fish for salmon and sometimes try and solo deer. One
See? I keep telling y'all, man, fuck with these small cats, bro. They still wild, bro. That is crazy. Like, look, we can't eat that motherfucking deer, bro.
the
Look
most
at 'em.
common wildcat in America. They have one of the longest grocery lists too. They'll hunt rabbits, birds,
Bruh, what are you doing? It's like watching a lion try to hop on the back of an elephant, bruh, and it gets kicked.
mice, squirrels.
Sit down, and this motherfucker said, "No, give me that
But
face."
will also fish for salmon and sometimes try and solo
And
deer.
see, that's what I mean. It's about a cat. You know what I'm saying? You can't just automatically think you about to punt a cat if it attack you, because like they be holding on to shit.
Here, one bobcat was caught dragging a shark out of the ocean, and before you ask, of course it's Florida. Another was caught attempting to bully a black bear out of food. The lynx is dangerously close to being considered the honey badger of cats. They're just a castration
damn,
claim
crazy.
away. You know, I almost forgot to mention, the cougar also shares distant lineage with the cheetah, but its closest relative is... This is a jaguarundi, or dark jaguar,
What?
even though it looks like a self-hating weasel. I feel bad for them. Because their ranges overlap, they're definitely aware of cougars, and knowing that's what your closest cousins got blessed with is like evolutionary rage bait. It's like the
I
Maine
know,
wolf
right?
and bush dogs, just remarkably unserious. The jaguarundi moves like an animal that should only exist in black and white film, but being built like an identity crisis otter actually helps them hunt without being put on a shirt themselves. The first slinky's able to slip through dense undergrowth while avoiding other cats, which they're really good at. In fact, they coined the phrase, the ocelot effect, which means if you see an ocelot, you know you won't find a jaguarundi, because the former bullies them into hiding. But apparently the biggest threat to a jaguarundi is being mid. According to researchers, the problem is they're not the biggest cat, they're not the smallest, they're not even the biggest of the smallest, they have no spots, no stripes, they're not especially endangered, just a remarkably unremarkable cat. In fact, a lot of times they get caught on cameras when the lensman was checking for someone else. Even
Crazy
their
work.
name isn't that original. I really hate that for them, because a jaguarundi's dope enough on its own. They deserve better. Same with the Andean mountain cat. They're endangered, and finding
Cute
this
guy.
cliff kitty in the wild would mean
Cliff
psing in the
kitty.
Andes mountains as high as 12,000 feet. It's beauty that'll take your breath.
The mountains. See, there's these motherfucking cats are at these places on purpose. It's because people ain't there. I'm telling you, it is not an accident.
That is, if the altitude leaves any left. We don't know that much about this cat, and that has to be the 6th time I've said this in this video. And that's the problem. They also prefer death over bondage because they almost refuse to survive in captivity. Every time we tried, the mountain cat retired to a was before we could learn anything, making it one of the least understood cats on the planet, and we still can't nail down exactly how many there are. But that's also cause they're constantly getting confused with the pampas cat. The pampas is like a video game character with multiple colorways. You ever experienced the anarchy of playing Smash Brothers with 8 Kirbys? Studying the pampas is pretty much the same, since science says there might be 5 different species of them. Might be because some argue there's only 1 species of pampas cat, just with 7 subspecies too, but most agree on 5 flavors of this feline. Like the mountain cat, we don't know that much about a cat that often lives where it feels like you're breathing through a straw on a treadmill. Despite what you've heard, it's actually lack of curiosity killing cats like the Andean or the pampas. I'll throw another one at you, Joffrey's cat. Named
Joffrey?
after some French dude, so more like Geoffrey. Another problem with being a house cat is people will pick them up thinking they're a house cat without a home, only to find out at the vet, which has to be annoying. It's kind of like snatching the vertically challenged off the street and then trying to put a grown man in a booster seat. To be fair, that's the black morph version. I promise you I'd make the same mistake. Joffrey's
too,
friend
that's
has
hard.
also been called the Salt Cat because they've been seen stalking places like the salt flats of Bolivia. It's one of the most common wild felids in South America, and their color actually changes depending on where, with Joffrey's flexing a leopard colorway in the north, but wearing a silver coat in the south. They've also been called fishing cats, and people have seen this pet-sized cat crossing raging rivers 100 feet wide. Now, I put these three
Gotta get
cats
to the
together
side.
because they honestly look like 3 stages of the same Pokemon. The Ocelot looks like a Latin clouded leopard, so I stand them off principle, even though they have the eyes that knows something's coming and knows you can't stop it. Although given the chance, probably let it happen. The Ocelot's prey consists of anything that won't kill them first, including other cats. But there's one animal they seem to be friends with, and out of all the options they have, for some reason they choose opossums. Ocelots and opossums have been caught casually walking around together, and this wasn't just a one-time occasion. This has happened multiple times throughout the years. They even tested this by placing
Look like he went after that nigga though. Wait a minute.
they choose opossums. Ocelots and opossums have
You
been
sure he
caught
wasn't
casually
stalking
walking
him?
around together, and this wasn't just a one-time
Came
occasion.
down.
This
and
has
look
happened
like-
multiple times
that
throughout
Look like that motherfucker got his ass. I ain't gonna lie to you.
the years. They even tested this by placing fabric strips with the scent of an ocelot, one with a pumas, and some random third, and the opossums overwhelmingly preferred Ode to Ocelot. We don't know what it's about, but I'm getting shades of badger and coyote. The Margays like nature copied the ocelot assignment, but changed a few answers. It's an anime-eyed paralysis demon to anything in its weight class in the trees. They also have ankles that can rotate 180 degrees, meaning they can free run through trees and cancel life subscriptions while hanging upside down. It's a mythical tree merchant that'll use psychological warfare against their prey, because Margays will imitate the sound of their prey to lure them out. One Margay was watched mimicking the cry of a baby tamarin, apparently well enough to convince the adults to stop what they were doing and investigate. This branch
Oh, that's
warrior is
crazy work,
serotonin
bruh.
to anyone who isn't a bird or a
Crazy
monkey.
work.
But the cod is like boss music
Trick
for
you into
depression.
dying.
Also
Oh.
called the guinya. It's one of the smallest cats in the world, weighing about as much as a 5-pound dumbbell. Unfortunately, not everyone thinks they're cute. To Mapuche locals, the cod was an omen of famine, disease, and even death, and would be
Damn.
destroyed on sight. According to legend, the cod is immune to bullets and has a habit of decapitating
It's immune to bullets. So you know what? That's crazy in some parts of the world. You know what I mean? Like we think of ancient Egypt or whatever, cats being revered and shit. Now what? Black cat cross your path, it's bad luck. This month, good like famine and all that other shit. That's crazy, bro. How they getting these labels?
destroyed on sight. According to legend, the cod is immune to bullets and has a habit of decapitating chickens to drink their blood, which led to a lot of farmers smoking them out of principle, even though cod do them a service with free rodent control. Luckily, the cod's reputation has gotten better throughout the years. And last and certainly
gotten
not least
smarter.
is the tiger cat, also known as the Oncilla. It's like
The
nature heard
tiger-
me hype the cloud
The tiger cat. Whoever did that is just this was done. Yeah. Look at this. Oh, we got a tiger cat. But we already have a big cat called a tiger. So the fuck what, man? Does it even matter at this point? There's so many. Like
leopard and a margay just to mess around and give me both. When they're not stalking the jungle floor grocery shopping, they're shacked up somewhere in a tree. It was once thought to be another version of an ocelot until they were eventually determined to be their own thing, and in 2013 it was discovered that there's actually 2 separate species of tiger cat. But in total, it's said there's under 10,000 tiger cats left, with deforestation speedrunning the decline. And just like that, that is every small cat. Holy fuck. This will be by far
That's a
my
lot.
longest video. Only cats could get that out of me. Cats are in this weird place where they're so normalized, many don't realize how close many of them are to only existing in past tense. But one way to help is just by acknowledging them. And I've done my part, so that's gonna do it for this video. Look,
I've
I'm
done my
tired, bro,
part.
so we just gonna run through this. My book, my Patreon. If you feel like it, I don't really need it. Drink water, call your parents, cat, and I'ma see y'all
Cat.
in the next one.
Hey, babies. You got 500,000 people that love yous. What do you think about that?
I'm not gonna touch you, but I can appreciate the love that you get. Oh, look at how cute it is. I would feel like it was just
Thank you.
tasting me for future purposes. Yo, that was dope and informative. We watched that dope and informative here too. Yeah, that was a good one, man. And it's like I said, respect from a distance, cause they'll fuck you up for real. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's not like they ain't cute. Of course they cute. They cats. Cats be cute. You know what I'm saying? And they small. And I just feel like they know we fucked up. So that's why they be in the mountains and shit. And but guess what? Humans being humans, we going up there. You know why? Just to see you. Literally just to find you. Like, all of that leave me alone ain't do nothing but put a big ass target on your back. Like, but nah, man, this was cool. That's a take. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media. And I'll catch y'all next one, fam. Peace.